Hello Year 4s, welcome to this video which is about water, which we need quite a lot of. I'm going to go through a few things I've written on the side here, you can't see them, ha 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 ha, about water. Some things we've done in class already, some things we haven't, just the way the timing's worked out, but let's rock and roll. Firstly, one thing that I know I've mentioned before is that water is made of a molecule. Every water molecule has these 3 atoms in it. And it's the first time I've used the word atoms properly as well. 2 of these are hydrogen, and 1 of these is oxygen. Now, oxygen is much bigger than hydrogen. It means water has our classic Mickey Mouse shape as a molecule. So you have these little balls of Mickey Mouse faces that go around each other all the time when it's a liquid. As a solid, they fast together and they touch with the hydrogens here. Så det finns lite tomt rum där. Där är varför is är större än vatten. It doesn't happen very often, but because there's a bit of space in water, it makes ice bigger. Most solids get smaller, but ice gets bigger. And of course the gas goes absolutely everywhere. We find water all over our planet and inside us. A few good facts that I love to throw around. 70% of us is made of water, and approximately the same amount of the Earth is covered in water as well. The problem is that the water on Earth is not mainly for drinking. About 97% of Earth's water has salt. And we can't drink salt water because salt takes up and attracts more water. It actually makes us more thirsty to drink it, not less. So that doesn't work. The problem is that the water molecules have taken up it there. If I draw some water here, remember water as a liquid, particles like this, some gaps in between, but they're moving around, all touching, all very happy. But there's little gaps. There's going to be little gaps like here and here and here. And the salt that rolls in from the rivers and the rocks, they can lösa upp där. To lösa, eller på engelska vi säger dissolve. The idea that salt as a substance can get into these little gaps and float around with the water. It has dissolved in the water. And I can keep doing that. We can keep putting more and more salt and fill more and more gaps. There's the gaps here. More and more gaps. But eventually, I will get to a point when there's no more gaps that I can do. If I have something that is, if I go and fill every single gap here, I'm not doing it all. If I fill every gap here, there finns no more. If I put some more salt in, it goes to the bottom. Det kan inte lösa upp mer än det finns platser. Something that has, if it's dissolved to the maximum, so they can interlösa upp mer. I'm blending languages today, this is cool. Then I use the word for that called saturated. Vi kan säga det är mättat på svenska, tror jag. If it's not dissolved to the max, I then just simply call it unsaturated. I'm hoping you can see. I'm going to just check the camera, look around here for the camera now, it's annoying. Oh yes, you can see, good. Unsaturated. So, that means det finns platser där. There are places that I can do more dissolving. If there are not, we say it's saturated. Those things there, of course, there's 3 other horrible words. I'm sorry for this, guys. Solvent, solute, and solution. There. Sorry. The solution is what I make. For example, that's my salt water. Then there and solution of salt water. Here I have solvent, which is my water, my liquid, and the solute, which is my salt. If I was to switch over to Swedish, solvent, the liquid is it's much easier in Swedish as well. Det är en lösningsmedel. The salt, I would say, is a löst ämne. See, it's so easy. Lösningsmedel, löst ämne. It's the thing that I lösa, dissolve. It's so easy. And the solution, lösning. There's my simple example there of how we can talk about water. Because it's not just salt, it could be sugar. It could be really dangerous chemicals for the environment. Acid rain, for example, was a big problem way before you were born, maybe 20 years ago, when lots of the factories were producing things like sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere of the rain can absorb. And then it falls down from the sky as a big acid breaking down lots of the chemicals that it falls on. Buildings and plants, for example. One other way that we use water is, of course, to keep things cool. Water takes a lot of energy to get hot. If you want hot water, you have to wait a few minutes. If I want a hot piece of metal, if I take my keys and I want them hot, if I put them on a fire, it will get hot very quickly. Water needs lots of energy to get hot. So if I put water on a fire, I have a red pen. Yes. Fire. When the water, bucket, that's a terrible bucket, bucket, here's the water coming out. Oh my goodness, that's so bad. Such a bad drug. Whatever. Water is here. Water. Fire. When the water hits, the reason the water stops the fire is because suddenly all the hot here is lost because it has to heat up the water. It spreads out. A lot of that water then turns into steam and the energy goes away from the fire. The fire gets colder and it can't burn anymore. We use it to cool us down as well. I'm hot. If I put water on me, I'm going to cool down really, really quickly. So, as a cooling material as well, it is super important. Also, of course, and most importantly, for life. Plants need water, and plants need water to do that very special equation, photosynthesis. If you're not sure on that equation, go and check that again. Photosynthesis, super important this year. But also, water is important because it's good for animal life too. We need to dissolve and move things around our body. Our blood, for example, is made of a liquid. Our urine is made of a liquid. Almost all of the things running through our bodies are liquids. Liquids help us to have everything flow around. And we lose liquids because we do make urine. We go to the toilet. We do sweat. We need to keep the fluids up so that things can move around and dissolve and go through our bodies all the time. It's why we talk about water so much. There's questions online. Have a go, guys. There'll be a video on air next week before we go into the test. Thank you very much.